Hey, hello everyone, welcome one, welcome all to all the friends, foes, minor acquaintances, complete strangers, and secret admirers, and everybody in between. Today is a mythic poetic analysis video of a character who's not very prominent in my D&D campaign, the Nascondere game, but who is loaded with symbolism. I'm currently outside because it is a lot warmer out here than it is indoors, like 10 degrees warmer. So I thought I'd enjoy the sun, talk. Apologize if you see me looking off around here. I'm watching my sister's dogs, and my own puppy. I hope they don't bark or growl or nothing, play around too much, too loud. And then my neighbors are doing stuff on the side, so, yeah. Anyways, hopefully it's not too loud, but, so today we're gonna, I guess I'm just jumping right into it, I'm going to be putting up pictures to help facilitate like I did last time. I did write some notes. It's just blank, but I got it, back here. So, without further ado, let's begin. So today, as you've seen in the, the video, whatever, we're talking about Sabrina Aminar. She is the Crow Queen, or High Justicar of Nascondere. And we're going to talk about her character in my campaign, not all of her symbolism from her character across multiple campaigns. So obviously, she was a lot different, right? Not entirely different, but she's older, right? In this campaign, she's a mother. And so that plays heavily into her role and to her symbolism. So let's talk about just aesthetically what she looks like. So we have a picture here. Sabrina is a character who carries this elegant, somber, dark aura to her, right? She's the High Justicar of Nascondere, which is basically the equivalent of being the chief of police and the like Supreme Court justice all in one. So she's very powerful at the start of the game. The arbiter of justice, right? And so we see this kind of militaristic kind of hat that she wears. You see it kind of in her shoulders, the regalia. We also see kind of a widow's veil, right? Kind of coming down, and crowish feathers. She's the Crow Queen. The courts are called the Crow Courts, colloquially after her. So when we look at her, we see an authority figure who wears feathers, military hat. Immediately we can see some symbolism here that harkens back to an old D&D game of ours. So for all the people who remember old videos, Ferdinand the Illustrious, and I can show a picture of him here, right? The regalia, the feathers, he's literally a bird. The hat. So we bring back to, it harkens back to that. And he was a figure who stood in for, as the father figure, the authority figure, and society, right? And God. That's what we talked about in those past videos. So now, Sabrina becomes the mother authority figure, but she's also kind of a father figure, because she is in a sapphic relationship with her wife, Mina, right? Who's passed away. Hence, Sabrina being a widow. So, with that, we can already start to see the framework of how Sabrina is as a character. She's an authority figure. She's kind of like Ferdinand, and kind of like another maybe character from pop culture, Gendo Ikari, the estranged parent, right? The widow who's trying to recover their lost spouse. And Gendo is also a father figure, but he's trying to recover his dead wife. And Sabrina is also the father figure. She's the mother, but she's not all the authority of society trying to recover her lost wife. Right? She doesn't know why her wife is lost, but she suspects that the vampire courts and the Vesper family, we kind of talked about in the last video, has something to do with it. Hence that kind of antagonistic relationship that goes on. And we're not going to talk about all that really. We're going to stick strictly to Sabrina's story that we see in the game, which isn't very big, but we see that. So she's an estranged parent. She has 2 children, Karina and Ariana, her 2 daughters, who one is a PC and one is an NPC, right? And she's an estranged parent to both of them. Kind of disregards them as if the 2 kids are Shinji, right? So she ignores them. She's like a patron in this sense who doesn't help. So this is an inverse to maybe the last game where we had Louis, also another character who is an estranged, a widow trying to recover their lost spouse. He knows where his lost spouse is, so it's the inverse, right? And he was a very helpful patron. So I kind of reversed that kind of thing, that character role for Sabrina. Hello everyone, this is post-production Noah real quick. Jamming in here the symbolism. I forgot one is that, you know, the city setting of Nascondere is a lot like Sigil from traditional D&D lore. So basically Sabrina mimics this kind of Lady of Pain, you know, that's the figurehead who is the kind of ruler of the city, retrieved and reserved, right? I remember I mentioned that she's not very involved in the kind of not politics, but like she's an absent parent, but she's an also absent kind of NPC from the narrative besides maybe cutscenes. So in a sense, she becomes the Lady of Pain, right? This kind of looming presence, patron that doesn't help. So I thought I'd add that in there. And the Lady of Pain in Sigil lore is kind of the ruler of Sigil, and is kind of represented by like knives across her face, which look like feathers. Oftentimes I've referred to a crow's feathers being like swords or being like knives, so I thought I'd say that. And additionally, I don't know if I'll say it later or earlier in the video, because she's a ruler and she has a crown. Crown sounds like crow, because crow is in crown, the word, and crown sounds like crone, which is in the triple goddess aspect. So anyways, back to the rest of the video. So with her, the main symbol for her, and we'll talk about the symbol for her really, and then the symbol that we basically talk about in game, or not talk about, but I think is more synonymous with her. So the High Priestess Tarot, right? This is synonymous with magic, arcana, witchcraft, the triple goddess, right? And so we think of the Morrigan, Hecate, the mother, the maiden, and the crone, and we see that all in her symbolism. The mother, right? She's a mother. She's a crone. She's a widow. And the maiden, I guess because she does have thoughts of maybe remarrying someone else who's close to her, maybe about moving on, which some of these other characters don't do, you know, that we talked about. So she's also subverting their role in that way, potentially. So in her story, I'm going to talk about her story real quick because it's not very big. She is in trouble with the law, right? She is the law, but there's an election going on, and there's a lot of factions politically that don't like her. And the gist of it is that she is imprisoned by the newly elected Prime Minister, Magister Moon. Now, interestingly, when we see the Wicca triple goddess symbol put up here, it's also on top of the head of the High Priestess. Notice here the circle, the self, the 2 moons that kind of cage her in. And then when we think of that, we also know that Magister Moon can create an illusion of himself. So 2 moons imprison the High Priestess. I thought that was an interesting. I didn't even mean for that. That Magister Moon could have a body double. We'll do a video on him eventually. So, interestingly, I think before we talk about more High Priestess stuff, I want to talk about the aspect of the crone, which I think Sabrina embodies the most in this game. Funny, I think crone sounds like crown, to tie back to society and, you know, being an authority figure. But crone is a widow. We see in Sabrina all this black colors, so like a black widow, right? And when we think of black widows, we think of webs, silken veil, right, of a widow. We also think of, what do you call it? When we think of black widow, a femme fatale, sort of. So she's still a badass. She can kill with a touch. But she's still kind of got this dark, elusive symbolism, and estranged, and maybe retreated back a little bit. Funnily enough, on a Black Widow, I guess I'm wearing the colors, right? Black and red. There's an hourglass kind of figure on a Black Widow's body. And so we can draw that symbolism to an hourglass figure, which is often represented with time. An hourglass looks like the number 8, which can be infinity, right? We talked about 8 before, the 8th house, you know, sex, death. These are all symbols we see in Sabrina. The goddess Ishtar, who's also synonymous as Venus. So we talked about that in the last video, but as you can see, we're kind of building upon concepts. And so Sabrina also kind of represents that, right? That kind of desire, but the desire for the deceased spouse. So that's how the sex and death, or desire and death, kind of fit into it, right? And Venus, of course, is a goddess of love and desire as well. So, and that also ties into the evening star falling. We're not going to talk about that too much. We already kind of went over that. So, I'm going really fast, honestly. So another kind of thing with the number 8 in the hourglasses, we can think of a grail, right? Or a chalice. Now, I'm just going to tease that right now because that becomes symbols later for spiders, perhaps, and webs. So, on to the High Priestess, back to the High Priestess. Another important symbol, and it's not one that you really see on immediate glance. The first thing when we glance at it is obviously the big pillars that represent the duality, right? The High Priestess herself, perhaps the moon and her Wiccan crown. Do you notice here in the background, what are these? And you see it go doon, 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 right where the cross is, bump, bump, boom. So you see a tree, right? Or almost like a tree of life, a Sephiroth. Now, when we talk about Sabrina, she isn't the High Priestess in the sense because she doesn't have the intuition, the magic, and she does have the magic and mystery, but she's not intuitive. She's a character who doesn't know things and is pursuing knowledge but cannot find the answers, right? Where is her lost spouse? So she's not the High Priestess, she's the High Priestess upside down, right? Blocked intuition and blocked kind of emotions and insight and stuff like that. Interestingly, this turns the tree of life, the Sephiroth, upside down, and it grows down now, right? Becoming a cliffeth. Now, notably, we've talked about in the Lovers in the previous video, the 2 trees in the Garden of Eden, right? 2 trees, one the tree of life in biblical lore, the other the tree of knowledge and good and evil. But, you know, here in my D&D game, we've called the tree of life a tree with black fruit, right? Notably, you would think the tree of life would be growing up and would have white fruit because white is synonymous usually with good, right? But now the tree of life is inverted and has black fruit. What's the other tree, the white tree? We don't know, but curiously enough, Magister Moon is called Mr. White Tree. Curious. So, or that's his pseudonym they use after the players fake assassinate him. So, when we look at the fruit going down, so when you look at them, they're pomegranates, right? And going down, pomegranates under the ground, if you think of them growing underground, you think of obviously Hades, Persephone, symbolism like that in Greek mythos. Now, we've talked about Hades and Persephone, like the abduction narrative, right? But this is more of the kind of temptation aspect, the forbidden fruit, that that the pomegranate now symbolizes. And if it's forbidden, right, then this further ties to the Qliphoth, which is usually a tree associated with demonic energy and stuff like that. So that is that. I feel like I whirlwinded through that, and my notes were on point. So that's pretty much the majority of the symbolism that we see with Sabrina and Aminar. Again, she's not a character who appears a whole lot, so there's not a whole lot of narrative to discuss with her. Sorry, I'm putting my cards, my tarot back. What are we going to draw today? No, I kind of want to draw something. Let's see what we get. Let me shuffle, since I'm got plenty of time. This guy is pissing me off. Hey, chill. Alright, we're going to draw the first major, so. Strength. I hope everyone who's watching has a lot of strength today. Look at this. That's actually very curious that we drew that. Infinity. The lion. The number 8, right? Infinity, obviously. So, but, you know, this is some symbolism we see in our game of a lion, potentially. But hopefully everyone has a lot of strength today. I know I need it, so. Anyways, that's really, again, all I had to discuss today. I don't think I had much more symbolism for Sabrina. I think there was some psychoanalytic bent that I could discuss with, you know, the to harken back to Ferdinand or whatnot from the previous campaign, but I don't feel like talking about that. I don't have it written down, so that's pretty much it. So thank you for coming today, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. You know what? Before I go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on my video, please, because I'm engagement farming. Now I have a nice view of this beautiful sky. Look at that. Look at that. Where's that sun? It's behind this tree. We cut the limbs because they were hanging down. So let me get a good view of the sun. Hold on. This is an invisible sun campaign, so. Wow. Look at that. I'm out of nature. Wow. Look at this beautiful little whatever. Anyways. That's it. That's all I had to share. Bye. Alright, here's for the loyal fans. If you stuck around after I said like 10 million farewells, I decided to have another part of the video. Ollie, come here. I'm going to show off the puppy. I'm not going to show my sister's dogs because, you know, I don't know if she wants them on my YouTube channel. So, hello, buddy. I'm petting the big one who's my sister's. So, hold on. I'll be right back. Let me get my puppy. He's over there chewing on something. He ran off. Let me get his frisbee real quick. Come on. Oh. Come here. Come here. He don't want to come. Hold on. Let's go get him. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, he's coming over. Sort of. Come on. Alright, let's set this up again. He's over here. I can pick him up. Easy. Easy. Alright, hold on. 1 second. I'll be right back. Oh my god, he's eating a pecan. Drop it. He was eating a pecan, so he didn't want to come over. He thought I was trying to steal it from him. So this is Ollie. Say hi to the camera, Ollie. Hi, baby. Oh, he's very sweet. He is a Scottish Terrier. He's a new member of the family. He's a puppy, so he's a little rowdy. Stop it. Oh, he does not want to be in my lap, so he's letting me know. Say hi to everybody. Oh, drama queen. Want to say hi to everybody? Oh. Say hi. Just calm down for a second. Hey, there you go. Put your ears up. Everybody see. Oh. Anyways, that's all. He's a very precious boy, but let's let him go now. Go on. Go get that pecan. Alright, see you guys.